Welcome to episode 110 of the Quick Time Event Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh, and as always, I am joined by my partner in crime and co-host, John.
Do you think I'm in the double digits for being on time yet?
Out of 110 episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you're at least...
Like 20%? Like about 20?
Yeah, I would say like the 15 to 20-ish range, probably. Maybe even 25.
Like once a month.
Yeah, something like
good.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Quick Time Event is a chance for John and I to get together each and every week to talk about all of the nerdy things that we love. If you like what you hear, you can find us live on twitch.tv/CDRMagnus for the foreseeable future at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays, or on all of your favorite podcast services all across the internet shortly after the live show ends. Obviously it is Thursday if you're watching the live show right now, or if you're listening to the podcast, it came out late because it is broadcasting on Thursday. We're going to trial this for a couple of weeks at least, just to see how it goes. We were going to do it for logistics reasons, but the logistic for the reason we did it may not exist anymore. And so right now I just want to kind of try it out because we've talked about this before. Most news happens like Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Like today we had Sony's State of Play for the month of August. That's going to be our topic of the show. We'll get to that in a little bit. But like Nintendo Directs are typically Wednesdays. The Inside Xbox thing that they do every now and again is on Wednesdays. It just makes more sense to do it on Thursday, I think. The only question I have is the YouTube question, in that it takes basically as an affiliate on Twitch, I had to basically sign my life away and say that anything that I broadcast on Twitch cannot make its way to YouTube for 24 hours, basically. Which means that if we broadcast on Thursday, that means the YouTube video would drop Friday evening. And I kind of feel like no one watches YouTube. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like, do you watch YouTube stuff on Friday? Like, does anything come out on Friday ever on YouTube?
No, but I don't really... There's not like anything that I consistently watch on YouTube.
The same.
I used to, but now it's rare if I go on there once a month.
Same for me. And I haven't watched YouTube religiously in a very long time. But I mean, there are millions of people that do. And I just feel like nothing comes out on Fridays. And there's probably a reason for that. Or even over the weekend.
Maybe we're just going to be the pioneers who we're going to do to YouTube what the games industry should do to like February and March.
Yeah. Right.
Release games when nothing's coming out.
Use the whole week. Not just, the first 3 days of it. Or in the games industry, the last 3 months of it. Use the whole year.
Exactly.
Use the whole week. So yeah, so we're going on Thursdays for the next couple of weeks at least. See how it goes. But 8:30 same time, twitch.tv/CDRMagnus. Audio podcast will go up same time as it always does, immediately after the show. Then the YouTube video will drop 24 hours ish later.
Hey, so you signed your life away to Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. What's to stop me from recording it and putting it up on YouTube? I assume it's because it's being hosted on Twitch and they'd be like, no.
I think it's also because it's not... that's a kind of a gray area, I think. Because it's not technically... If it doesn't debut on your channel...
Which is essentially non-existent.
I think that Twitch has
it exists for the purpose of me... modding.
I think that if you were to post it, you would receive like the cease and desist, basically, even though that you are basically just as much of an owner as it is, because it originated on this channel. Yeah. You cannot then go post it somewhere else.
I just think it's really funny, the thought of me getting a cease and desist letter for a video I'm in.
Yeah,
that'd be just dumb.
Well, I mean, the people do that, right? Like, you see, what was that? It was a few months ago. Sacha Baron Cohen was like he was interviewing some Republican congressman or something. Anyway,
Did it not go the?
it did not go the
Did
way
he
that
bamboozle?
he
Did he
bamboozled. Yeah,
do his
basically.
bamboozle?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah. Sacha Baron Cohen did his trademark bamboozle and totally painted that person in a very poor light. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that he did. The fucking guy did it himself because he's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's suing Sacha Baron Cohen now because of the way he was portrayed. Even though he was portrayed, he was the guy. He was just doing what he always does. Someone videotaped him doing it.
I don't think I will, and we don't usually ever touch on these topics, and I promise it's just a very light touch on this. I will never understand how politicians keep their jobs. It just feels like almost every single one, especially the ones who have been in the game for longer. Like you see an interview or like some questionnaire or something with them, and it's like how are there's so many that are just so out of touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's on every single side, and I'm just like, how we see how you are. How do people still vote for you?
I don't know, man.
Status quo? Like
they just don't care. You know, like there's the guy's been, I think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, well, the guy's been doing the job for a long time. He must know what he's doing.
Our state's not on fire, so like, sure, keep doing it.
The leopards haven't eaten my face yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. I today made a discovery and realization. I think I've made this realization many a time, and it hurts to relearn it, but I think it's a lesson I'm doomed to relearn for the rest of my life. I went to a frozen yogurt place, which it has very, very good like standards for dealing with the pandemic. Where,
okay.
Like, very, very few people are allowed in. Nobody's allowed to touch anything except for the employees.
I was going to ask that. Like, do you have to wipe
it's all
down
done for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they put up ropes and they're like, nah, you're not coming back here. You can look at those fun machines and all those great toppings, but you're not touching. So I have two constant issues anytime I get frozen yogurt, and I think I just need to avoid it forever going forward. The first issue is that I mean, they're both just the fact that I'm a child. But issue one of me being a child and reverting back to the mindset of an 8-year-old when I go to a froyo place is I'll see all these toppings and I'll see the flavors of ice cream or your frozen yogurt or whatever. And I'll just be like, okay, I like that flavor and I like that one and that one and that one and that one. And I like this topping and this topping. And I'll just make this absolute monstrosity that tastes I mean, it doesn't taste awful, but it's just sugar.
Right. It's the same. It's the equivalent of going to whatever fast food place usually has a soda fountain, and then just going
exactly.
boop, 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 and getting every single one of them. And then it just tastes like Trix or like a fucking like Fruity Pebbles, basically, because it's just a fucking mound of sugar that you're drinking. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, but I go, and people that I know go so infrequently to frozen yogurt that like you get overwhelmed and you forget about this lesson. Like you learn it and then you don't go for 3 months at least if you're me. And then you go back and the 8-year-old takes over. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is that I forget that I'm an adult and like I can eat all this sugar. But I really should get like the smallest size possible and really limit how much I'm consuming, because I'll get it and then I'll eat a third and I'll be like, I don't really want this anymore, but I already paid. So I'm just at a, like, if I was the responsible adult at this point, I would just throw it out.
Sure.
But I'm not at that point yet. The 8-year-old takes over and is like, nah, you saved up your allowance for this.
I'm always, when it comes to froyo or ice cream in general, I am just like the most vanilla of people. I don't like vanilla, but I get the same thing every time. I never deviate. It's like when I go to Handel's, which is my favorite ice cream place. It's an Ohio chain. I just get chocolate ice cream and a waffle cone. It's the same thing every single time. I never get anything else. I never go off my deviated path. I get the same goddamn thing every single time. Similar with Froyo. I usually get like a mix of like whatever their chocolate and then like a salty caramel kind of mix.
Okay, yeah.
And then like 1 or 2 toppings, and that's it.
See, that's what I should do. I should create a standard, or at least be like, okay, I'm going to limit myself to 1 flavor of Froyo and like 3 toppings that truly complement each other and the Froyo.
Right.
Instead, I end up getting cookies and cream,
Butterscotch, the strawberry boba poppers, like
yeah.
fucking gummy
Actually,
worms,
that happened.
Skittles.
In my mind, I was like, all right, I want the boba and the matcha, but I want them like, or not the matcha, what's it called? Mochi.
Mm.
I was like, all right, give me those, but like, I don't really want them on the ice cream. I just want them. So like, set them off to the side. No, they didn't. They just dumped them all over everything, and I was like, okay.
I think the only mistake that I make sometimes with Froyo is I'll get like the gummy bear or the gummy worm.
Yeah.
But then they always freeze. They like get really hard in the Froyo. It's like, what's the point of this? I'm breaking my teeth on
they become hard candy.
These rocks in my Froyo because I'm an idiot and I never remember that the fucking things freeze in the bowl. That's my mistake. Never get the gummies.
There's maybe it's just everybody has a mistake that they constantly forget and relearn for Froyo in general. Yeah. For me, it's multifaceted of just flavor combinations and excess sugar. But for you, it's the gummies.
The gummies.
Maybe for somebody else, it's like they put too much ice cream in and have no room for toppings when it's said and done and just get sad about it.
I think it's because like I don't know. It's not like I eat gummy fruit or gummy bears or whatever ever. The only time
you see it all and you're like, I can't get this anywhere.
The only time
I can, but I'm not.
The only time I've ever eaten that shit in the adult years of my life is when it's in a fucking cup of Froyo because I see it and I'm like, well, I like these in my childhood. Why don't I put it on this? And then I always hate myself because it's gravel. You're eating gravel basically.
I don't know what it is, but Froyo places make everyone revert to children.
Yeah.
I wish that I could be an adult when I go into those places. But that would require me to go more often, which is that beats the point.
Right, yeah. I guess it's better to just be a child like once every couple of months than like try to be like an adult.
Honestly, with my track record, like once a year.
There's only like 1 Froyo place in Columbus. At least that's like close to us. But in Northeast Ohio, they're fucking everywhere. There's like 3 or 4 different brands.
Yeah, there's one of the big ones is Menchie's.
Yeah.
And there are 2 within about a 10-minute drive of each other.
Yeah, there's like none of that here for some reason. Very weird.
You're all grown up. You don't need it.
Yeah. I guess we got Jenny's. That's fine.
That's what you need.
The grown-up ice cream.
At first I was like, this is stupid. It's so expensive, and they're giving me like a scoop and a half, like a tiny ball of ice cream. And then I had it, and I was like, this is very rich and fulfilling, and the spoon is small, so like I'm actually savoring it.
You're just shoving it down your throat, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I went to Grader's, which is another ice cream place that's like a kid's ice cream place, and they'll give you a giant bowl of just sugar. You'll be like, I'm a kid again. I'm going to eat this all. You'll go to Jenny's and they'll be like, excuse me, sir. How many ounces of ice cream would you like? And you're like, 2, thank you.
Or they say a scoop, and it's like literally a scoop. You go to like anywhere
else. They make that thing a perfect sphere.
Right. You go to Handel's, you go to Grader's, you go to like any of the bigger ice cream chains, and you ask for a scoop of something, and a scoop of something really means a cone of something, basically.
Yeah. It means a serving. Like a serving where you're going to be not regrettably finishing it, but like at your limit.
Yeah. No, a Jenny's scoop is it's a scoop of ice cream.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I started since we're on the topic of ice cream. Have you seen I don't know how many places have them. I know that I got them at Giant Eagle. but they're called, I think, Mimo,
Mm-mm.
and it's kind of expensive, but you can find it on sale every once in a while, and it's like premium ice cream, whatever that means, wrapped in mochi.
Oh, I mean, I've had a lot of mochi ice cream, but not that brand before.
That's the only one that I can find. But like
Oh.
the servings, like there's 6 of them in there,
Yeah,
and
that's a
it's
little
just
tray of mochis.
it's the perfect size. They nailed that.
I'm gonna be a fucking weeb snob right now, but I just
Go
go
for it.
to Tensuke Market, which is the Japanese marketplace, and I mean, can any of the Asian marketplaces in Columbus have a wide selection? Trader Joe's actually has frozen mochi ice cream too.
Ooh,
They
that's
have
good to know. There's one near me.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4. I think they have mango, matcha, usually like coffee, and maybe
I always get
strawberry.
matcha. So it's sold.
Yeah, Trader
Done deal.
Joe's, good stuff.
It's this is a really weird start to this podcast.
It is. What games you been playing?
Um,
Let's get out of here. Let's get off the ice cream.
run away. I have been playing Paper Mario. I downloaded it on Friday and don't love the combat, but the writing is great. It's very fun. I think you would enjoy just reading all the Toad dialogue. All the Toads are great.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of screenshots of the snarky dialogue. I do love snarky dialogue.
Yeah, there's so much of it. It's excellent. But yeah, in terms of combat, don't really like it. Doing this little ring puzzle every time, it's getting a little old. And I'm going out of my way now to kind of do some backtracking, and you get these like little charm accessories that'll help you find some of the hidden collectibles. And like they do a really good job of breaking up the world in the start menu, and you can like see, all right, this little section of this, it's streamers. You like each section of the game is a streamer. So like the red streamer has, I don't know, 8 different places that you can go in it, and they tell you what collectibles, like what percentage of each one you have. So it's very friendly in terms of being like a completionist. Yeah, good characters, good writing, annoying puzzles, but can't really do anything about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not my favorite Paper Mario game, but certainly better than, at least in my opinion, than Super Paper Mario, which had a great story, but wasn't even remotely like an RPG. Like it was straight up platformer where you're jumping on things and stomping them, like almost side scroller esque. Wait, no,
else?
I'm not done.
Oh my god!
Done.
Okay.
It's not a game, but I did finish watching. I don't know if I ever brought this up, but I finished watching Community.
No, I stopped watching Community. I don't remember what season it was. It was
end of season 4.
No, it was. Oh man, Oh, what the fuck? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Hello. There we go. No, it was probably. I remember the first paintball episode that was like really, really popular.
Yes, that was end of season 1.
Okay, I think I probably fell off like beginning of season 2-ish.
Okay. Yeah, they really just kind of derailed. I don't know what happened, but season 5 and especially season 6, I think they were losing characters. And so like it just went a little nuts.
Yeah. Well,
especially towards the end of season 6, it got real crazy.
Well, Chevy Chase was a dick, so he eventually left or was forced off or whatever. But then, yeah, Donald Glover got too big. He got too famous. So he was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to go be famous. And he kind of just left. And then I think that caused some issues.
That definitely did. That I noticed as soon as he left, I was like, the show isn't making me laugh as much. How about you?
What
have you been up to?
Ghost of Tsushima on on Monday or Tuesday this week.
Were you one of the 8.8 million people to pet foxes or whatever?
I did. Every time I had the opportunity to pet the fox, I pet the fox.
Good.
It doesn't happen every time. I think there's like 49 Inari shrines that you have to do, that you follow the fox to the shrine. But a lot of them are like on the side of cliffs, and like as soon as you go and do the animation to worship at the shrine, the fox just kind of disappears if it's on the cliffside. But if the shrine is like in the middle of an open space, then the fox sits there and waits for you to pet it. So
I wish that happened in real life.
Yeah, it'd be great. I could not deny the fox's pets, so I did that every opportunity that I could.
Good.
I really liked the end of that game on the story side. So I mean, everything I've talked about the last 2 weeks from the gameplay stands. It's a great. It's very fun to play that game, especially because it feels like, to me at least, the open world genre is just like so stale at this point. It almost feels like every open world game is basically the same with like different coats of paint.
Yep. Different style, different era.
Yeah, and I feel like this one did a really good job of making the combat important. Like when it comes to the Assassin's Creed games that are open world, I don't think that those games are that fun to play. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're fun, I guess, but like the combat in Assassin's Creed, at least in Origins and Odyssey, is not diverse. Like, you don't have that many weapons in your arsenal. You really only have, I think, light and heavy attacks, and you can dodge, basically. It's not like there's not that much to do. And in Ghost of Tsushima, there's a lot of different ways you can play that. Both on the stealth side and on the samurai side where you're in combat. It's very fun. It's not arcadey, but it's definitely not anywhere near as like grueling as Dark Souls. Sure. I just think that it's a very fun game to actually play.
Yeah.
But I think I've been, at least in the first like act and a half or so, I was kind of like so on the story. Like, it was a totally fine story, but it wasn't hitting any like really deep notes for me. But the end of the game, I heard
it was very predictable.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think up until a certain point, there's not like a really, like, the characters aren't really that interesting. But then there's something that happens. I guess it's right at the end of Act 2, actually, that makes everything a lot more interesting. Specifically, Jin, the main character, makes a decision, and by he makes a decision, you have to do something that basically changes the entire outlook of how people look at you. And your relationship with almost all of the characters changes dramatically at that point. And
do you have to make that decision?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so what happens after is pretty interesting from a story perspective, but especially the last like couple of missions in the game, they hit all the right notes, and I left the game feeling a lot more high on the story than I was for the first 30 hours or so of the game. At no point did I like think it was a bad story or anything like that. It was very predictable, sort of just like what you would expect a samurai game to be about.
Yeah.
And then, like at the end of Act 2, really the last act of the game in Act 3 changed my opinion. So,
okay.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Platinumed it. Great way to end the PS4 generation. And then yesterday, I played Fall Guys on the PS4 because it's free with PlayStation Plus. If you have PlayStation Plus,
I should sign up for it just so that I can get this game. It looks fun.
Definitely. If you have PlayStation Plus, definitely don't lose out or miss out on it. They've gone on record now and said that the only reason they put their game on PlayStation Plus was because basically how popular Rocket League was when it launched. Rocket League, and I don't think, I'm sure there are a lot of people who know this, but Rocket League, the notoriety that it got came after sort of the initial push, and that initial push only happened because it was a free game at launch on PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus really made that game, or it helped make that game. And so Fall Guys sort of saw that and wanted to go the same route. And yeah, it's free right now. It's very fun. It's a little. I played for about 2.5 hours last night. I don't know that I've seen all the mini games. I'm sure they're going to add more mini games as time goes on.
Oh yeah.
But it's a game that, at least to me, is not something that I would play often. Like, it's not something that I could sink even 4 hours into in like one sitting. I don't know that everybody feels like that though, because a lot of the big streamers that I've seen on Twitch are playing it constantly. Like, they've been playing it every day for 8 hours for the last couple of days. So I will say that it's very addictive. It's very much like, okay, I'll do one more episode, because they're not long. Like, even like to get through an entire episode or whatever, it's like 15 minutes maybe max. So it is very addictive. I think it's just like the gameplay there's not enough variation in the gameplay. I don't think. I think that'll be helped again as they keep adding in more content as time goes on.
Sure.
But it's definitely something that's like, it's super fun in the moment. It's kind of weird because it's not, I wouldn't call it a party game because it's one player. Like, you can't play with two people on the same TV.
Yeah.
But it feels very much like a party game, even though it's not. So I'm sure it'll definitely be on our Extra Life list for this year. But it's kind of it's just a weird kind of game. It's like a single player party game. It's very weird.
Yeah.
That's about it. Just Fall Guys and Ghost.
I forgot one thing. I'd been playing it for a while, and I finally beat Dark Souls 2. I understand. It seems, at least the people I know who have played the Dark Souls franchise were like, 1 is great, 3 is great, 2 you can skip. I understand now. Not my favorite. Definitely my least favorite, actually.
You got to play Demon Souls and report back.
Yeah, because I'm actually supposedly my one friend has put a lot of hours into Dark Souls 3. Like, I think over 1,000. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, literally how. Because he is currently doing a build where he's running through Dark Souls 3 with only shields. And I don't know how that works.
Listen, he's not a real gamer. He's not a real gamer unless you play a whole only shield run using a DDR pad. That's the only way you know if you're a true gamer, is only shield run DDR pad. Maybe you can use the DK bongos from the fucking Wii U or whatever system. Use the DK bongos. That might be a better way to determine whether or not you're a hashtag real gamer.
You're a true gamer. But, yeah, real gamer.
Yep.
But anyways, so I'm playing with him and some other friends, and I think he mentioned that we were like we have 2 bosses left in the game for like the main story. And it's obvious that we're in end game at this point, because like upgrade material is just dropping like crazy. You're getting a ton of souls from everything, and like the world's about to seemingly almost explode. So
on brand.
Yeah, very, very on brand. So I will have finished Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, I'll have to do Bloodborne, and I'll have to do Demon Souls eventually.
So let's talk. Speaking of Demon Souls, not really, but let's talk about PlayStation and their August state of play. Demon Souls was not there. Spoiler alert. But so Sony announced last week that they were going to have a new state of play presentation.
How much back and forth is there going to be between Sony and Xbox?
At least, because there's rumor that there's a new Xbox thing that's going to be game specific. There's just so many rumors, and they're all unsubstantiated. But it's like, in some realm, like, they have to be true, because neither one of them have announced prices. Neither one of them have announced, like, like we haven't seen UI yet. I think Xbox has actually gone on record and to say that the UI for the Series X is going to be the same as it is now. But that's not going to be the case with PlayStation 5. So we haven't seen the PlayStation 5 UI yet. We haven't seen the store or like any of the features. We haven't seen anything really. And we're what, 3 months away from launch?
Yeah, supposedly.
There's more presentations coming. It's just like how many more? How many more?
Yeah.
I think it's Xbox's move now, and I think that Sony's hoping that they announce the price at the next one. And then Sony would have to have another one after that. And then I
mean, one of them has to break soon because how else are you going to do pre-orders?
I don't know. I think that the next thing on
deck... You can pre-order this for... What was that? How much? Just hit the button.
I think here's my prediction before we get into the meat and potatoes of this actual presentation. My prediction is Xbox has the next move.
Yes.
I think that it's rumored that it's going to be the Lockhart announcement. And once we know what Lockhart is, because we don't know what that is, we have an idea. Some people have multiple ideas what Lockhart is. But once we get the Lockhart announcement, I think that's when Microsoft has to announce the price. Because Lockhart, if it is what some people think, is going to be like a $99 stream-only box that's going to play all Xbox games going forward.
Yes.
And if they can announce a $99 entry into their ecosystem, they have to compare that with what the Series X is going to cost. So
yeah.
I think that has to be the next thing is Microsoft announces Lockhart. They announce the price of the Series X, and maybe at that point there was rumor that they held on to like 2 IP that they didn't talk about at the showcase 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope more because they bought 13 studios and 8 of them had stuff.
Yeah, it was like 9 out of 13 of their studios showed stuff. Yeah, there's the last one. So
there should be, hopefully, please God, be like 4 or 5 more.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen what is it not Coalition, whatever their big studio is that has like all the former like Sony people. They have like what the fuck, not Volition. What the fuck is that studio? Xbox Games Studios.
I do think that
they have the initiative. We'd have no idea what the initiative's working on. That's like the big question mark that everyone wants to know is what is the initiative working on? We haven't seen. I am assuming that we're getting a new Gears game at some point. They could show that off. And there's like 2 or 3 other studios that we don't know what they're doing.
What if they just came out and they were like, Gears is dead. Long live Gears. Here's what we're doing.
No more Gears. But anyway,
if they do announce prices, like, it would be great for them to have a $99 box. But like, I feel like that just, if there's too stark of a contrast,
they don't care though. They don't care.
They don't. It's
no
true.
One's bought the no one. I mean, not no one, but the Xbox Series X. It doesn't sell. Like it didn't make people want to purchase and buy into the Xbox platform. At this point, they don't really. They don't not care about their hardware. It's just so secondary to them right now. They don't care about how many Xboxes they're selling. They truly don't. Obviously, they want to sell Xboxes, but what really matters is the Game Pass subscription. That's all that matters. Is subscribe to Game Pass. I don't care what you're playing. I don't care if you're playing on an Xbox One, a vanilla Xbox One that was manufactured in 2012 or 2013. You can be playing on a $99 Lockhart. You could be playing on the Xbox Series X. We don't care. Just play our games on our subscription service. That's all we care about.
Yep. Netflix. CS7s.
Yeah. So I think that's the next move. They announced Lockhart. They announced the price. Then Sony comes back the week after that or the day after that, whenever the hell, and they announce their price. Then I don't know. I don't know what happens after that. We'll see, I guess. But today was the state of play. Nothing earth-shattering here. They came out, and I think they did what Nintendo did a couple of weeks ago with their mini direct, and they set the expectations better than Nintendo did because Nintendo gave everybody like 6 hours notice before their 7 a.m. press conference for
Yeah.
or not for
I
mini
think it
direct.
was 12. I think it was 12 hours.
That's fair. They gave Sony gave about a week's notice of proper expectations. Hey, look, you're getting a state of play. It's for mainly for PlayStation 4 games. There are going to be no major PlayStation 5 announcements, and you will see a couple of updates from games that were announced at our PS5 reveal event a month ago.
So the exact same thing that Nintendo did, just with a week of padded time
Sure.
to digest this information.
Yes.
And maybe like not fan the flames.
Right.
Okay.
They set the expectation for time too. They said it was going to be 40 minutes. We got like 45 minutes for the state of play. And here's what we got from it. First off, they showed Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time, I think is what the game is called.
Yes. That's not you being snarky. That is
No.
that is the name of the game.
I do like how
Which is probably the joke.
it is. I like how coy Toys for Bob is being about, like, there have been a lot of shitty Activision Crash Bandicoots over the years. We've had so many shitty Crash Bandicoots. This is Crash Bandicoot 4, the sequel to the Naughty Dog games.
Yeah.
This is going to be the good one, is basically what they've
AKA,
been saying.
It's about time.
Yes. I think it looks really good. Like, from an art direction, it looks beautiful. I think that, like, the ray tracing and the HDR is going to look amazing with that art style. Similar to how Ratchet and Clank looks. I think it's just, it looks like such a beautiful game. I personally have never really connected with Crash. I did play all 3 Crash Bandicoot games growing up. It's not like a series that I really hold dear by any stretch of the imagination. I'm probably not going to play this game, honestly, but it does look good. It looks like, if I was a Crash Bandicoot fan, this looks like the game that I would want.
Yes. I've not played any of them, so I have no real attachment or even bearing. I've seen maybe some people play a couple of them, but like not too much.
Yeah. It's an archaic platformer, and you know how I feel about platformers. So
You love them.
yeah, Crash 4. I'm glad that people who love Crash seem to be happy about it, and it really does look like it's going to be a beautiful game. Not sure about the gameplay or like what the story does, but happy for those people nonetheless.
Good for you.
They moved on to Hitman 3, which looks like more Hitman. I did not play Hitman 2, and I hate that we're talking about them with numbers like this because there have been so many Hitman games. I hate that we rebooted it and then we're on Hitman 2 and Hitman 3 again. Like, those games already exist.
How many Hitman games are there?
At least, I mean, I think it wasn't Hitman. Let me pull up the thing. I think that Hitman the reboot was also Hitman 5. Like
That's the thing.
One.
Hitman's so confusing. Like, I've never understood it.
All right, here we go. Hitman, Hitman 2, Hitman Contracts, Hitman Blood Money, Hitman Absolution.
So in theory,
5
Hitman
games.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right. And then Hitman 2016 was the reboot. Then we get Hitman, Hitman 2, and Hitman 3.
Hate it.
I loved the original Hitman. I loved the Hitman reboot. I did not play Hitman 2. Hitman 3 looks like a continuation that looks like it's going to be it looks like a great game. I think the bigger announcement here was that the entire trilogy of those remastered games, well, not remastered, the reboots of game, the entire reboot trilogy is going to be playable in VR.
That'll be interesting.
Which is interesting because that's a lot of content, and that's a game that is like, it's not a first-person shooter, but it can be. So I don't know what that's going to play like, but this might be like a major step forward for VR in the AAA space.
Yeah. Or just another attempt that doesn't really catch.
Could be.
We'll see.
They showed off Braid Anniversary Edition. I am not familiar with Braid, other than it's one of the first indie games like Braid when it came out on the PS3, like you mentioned Braid in the same breath as you mentioned like Flower and Journey and Super Meat Boy. Like it's that like generation of games.
Super Meat Boy. Love it and hate it all at once.
Yeah.
More hate, I think.
But Braid is one of those games that put like the idea of indie games, at least in the console space, on the map.
Yes.
So it's getting an anniversary edition. They're not calling it a remaster. It's Braid Anniversary Edition. And they showed some like side-by-side comparisons in the show. Basically, for every 1 pixel that existed in the original game, there are now 9 pixels. So it's much more higher def than it was before. And it's really stark when you look at the two side-by-side comparisons.
That's a lot more pixels.
So many pixels. But talk to me when you start talking about triangles. That's really what I want to know about is the triangles.
Give me those polygons.
So Braid Anniversary Edition, I might play it. It doesn't look like my kind of game. It's a 2D side scroller. But knowing how important it is to the indie game industry, I kind of want to see what it's about.
Do you know how long it is?
No. But I can find out in 2 seconds.
Unless I find out first.
Racing to Google. Main story, 5 hours.
Damn, you did beat me.
I'll definitely play that then. A 5-hour side scroller.
Yeah, 5-hour game.
Fine.
That's fine. That's doable.
And I think most of it,
I can pay my respects.
I think most of it is it's puzzle based. It's not. I think there is platforming elements, but it's mostly puzzles.
Okay. Moving right along.
Onward to something called the Pathless, which looked interesting, but this was the point where I started to get bored because they showed way too much of this game. It doesn't really look like that like deep of a game to begin with, but they just showed way too much of it, and it lost my attention. So the Pathless, there's a bird involved. You're like fighting a dragon. It's kind of whatever. Don't know about that one.
I am 100% okay with that description.
There's a bird, there's a dragon, you do some stuff. That's what it is.
That's it. That's your game.
Showed off Spelunky 2, another trailer where I feel like it just went on too long. I feel like what Sony didn't do well in this state of play was they gave too much time to some of these people. Like they tried to give everybody equal time, but not everybody needed equal time.
Yeah, like everybody, you get 5 minutes, you get 5 minutes, you get 5 minutes. Whereas, your game is only 5 hours. Maybe you don't need, like 1% of your game to be your time slot.
Yeah. So Spelunky 2, I know a lot of people really love Spelunky. I am not one of those people.
I'm looking at like screenshots and it looks kind of fun.
People fucking love Spelunky. I think it's it was really big on the Vita. It was one of the Vita's biggest games. But I think it's also
on.
I'm pretty sure it's on other stuff.
Oh, it's on Steam. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, I know people love that game, so I'm happy for people with Spelunky 2 because that's also a game that's been in development forever. So it's finally coming out.
This episode is the Josh is happy for everyone else episode.
I'm so happy for everyone else because I'm not happy.
Not himself.
Internally.
He's happy for you.
Yeah. You can have all my happiness because I don't have any right now.
Because you keep giving it away.
No.
You got to hold some in.
Yeah, I'll try.
All right.
I was watching the Kind of Funny stream for this, where they react live to they're watching. It's a watch along. What we did with the Game Awards last year. I was watching the Kind of Funny stream, and Tim Geddes referred to this next game as a Breath of the Mild, because I guess I agree with him, because there's a bunch of games that are coming out that like look like Breath of the Wild, or like they clearly have taken a lot of inspiration from that game.
Sure.
And this just looked like discount Zelda, basically.
Oof.
It's a game, but not in the. It's not like an oof. I'm sure this game is. Well, I guess I can't say I'm sure about anything, but this game looks like it's very much built for a specific audience, which is weebs who want a weeb game that's like Breath of the Wild, because it is basically an anime Breath of the Wild is what it looks like.
Weeb of the Wild.
but, but from like an art direction standpoint, like the way it's cell shaded, it looks exactly like fucking Breath of the Wild. Both anime characters. Genshin, I don't think I said the name of it. Genshin Impact is the name of the game. But yeah, it's an action JRPG that very much looks like Breath of the Wild. So there you go with that one. Then we moved on to the moment we were all waiting for, which was gameplay for Bugsnax.
This was the point of the state of play.
Yes. We finally got Bugsnax gameplay. I really don't know. It's very weird. Like it
Really?
to me, well, okay, but even weirder than I thought it would be. I don't know what I really thought this game was going to be, but it's basically like fetch. If to me, it looked like it was fetch quests. But then there's like this like malicious. I don't know. It was. You have to go watch the trailer. It's very hard for me to describe. But there's like there's a story clearly, and there's like this dichotomy between this guy sitting behind a desk and the excited person we met in the last trailer that was like explaining Bugsnax.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. They clearly don't like each other. But I'm really interested about this game. I think the internet's like memed this game to the point where it's like everyone talks about Bugsnax, but I don't know that everybody is actually hyped for Bugsnax. It's more just like
They want to be able to talk around the water cooler.
Sure.
Of the internet.
But like the meme water cooler. Not the same way that people are hyped for Cyberpunk. It's more like, hey, this is a meme that we all know about. I feel like we should keep talking about it because it's got like such a foothold in the zeitgeist. But like I'm legitimately interested in playing this game. I'm so curious about it. About what it's like.
I want it.
Moved on to a new VR game, a new Star Wars VR game called Vader Immortal. Looked pretty cool for a VR game. If you have lightsabers, you're using the Force. It's kind of whatever.
Pew pew.
Control DLC. I still have not played Control.
Same.
Probably won't.
That won Game of the Year last year at the Game Awards, right?
Yes.
Because we thought it was going to be Death Stranding.
I think it did. Yeah, it did.
But then I think Control ended up winning, and we were like, oh, Kojima didn't win like the top 5 awards.
Yeah, I think he won the narrative one, but he didn't win game. Yeah, Control won Game of the Year.
Sounds right.
Yeah. I probably should play it. There's no reason for me not to. It's just like it's kind of spite at this point. It's like you won the game of the year, and you very well may have deserved Game of the Year. But because my Game of the Year, or my opinion on what should have won, was not even nominated, I'm not going to play you out of spite.
Hey,
when you have
they deserve it.
Remedy had no part in that at all. Remedy at no point was like, hey, you better not fucking let those bastards over at who made Fire Emblem, whatever studio that is, Nintendo proper or whoever, you better not nominate them.
No.
Then there was a bunch of stuff that I don't care about. There were 3 games right off the bat, or 4 games. Oh shit, the one that I actually wanted to talk about I didn't put on here. There's like a Trolls Checkers game that is really fucking weird. No interest in that. Called Auto Chess. Don't know what that has to do with trolls, but okay. Then there's a game called The Pedestrian, which actually looks kind of cool. It's like a puzzle game where you're directing the lady who's on the bathroom sign. You know what I'm talking about? Like the silhouette, yes. Like when you're looking at the bathrooms, there's like the male figure and the female figure. You're directing one of them like through signs. It kind of looks interesting, but nothing
definitely
big.
Unique.
Sure. And then there's this game called Hood, Outlaws, and Legends, which is definitely not For Honor, even though it's definitely For Honor gameplay-wise. And it's like medieval, like Robin Hood era characters fighting each other. Did nothing for me. The game that I wanted to talk about, though, and I'm sure it's on probably. Let me go to Polygon. Because I've seen stuff about this dropping all over Twitter in the last couple of hours. Of course,
haven't.
Not.
I'm curious now.
Shit. Aeon, right? Aeon Must Die. Yeah, so the game is called Aeon Must Die. And it actually, like, when I watched the trailer, the cutscenes look so cool. The gameplay looks really lame. It's like, from a gameplay perspective, it looks like a 2D fighting game almost, but like a really low quality 2D fighting game. Ooh. But the cutscenes and like the ambiance of the game and the vibes it gives off is really cool. It's almost like retro wave or synth wave, but like Doom, like Hellscape, but EDM, essentially.
All right.
Yeah.
So a rave in hell.
Right.
Nice.
But what was interesting was that after the game was debuted at this state of play, a bunch of former developers from this studio came out and said that the game was stolen because a bunch of them quit last week.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I saw this. Okay, I saw this part of it.
Yeah, so this article comes from Ian Walker over at Kotaku. PlayStation Showcase game was stolen, say former developers. A group of developers went public today with serious accusations of overwork and theft against their former employer, the Estonian studio Limestone Games. The claim surfaced shortly after a trailer for Aeon Must Die. The game, they say, was stolen from them, was shown during today's State of Play broadcast. In total, 8 members of the Aeon Must Die creative team resigned from Limestone Games in June, according to the cache of testimonials published by former employees earlier today. The ex-employees attribute the decision to what they describe as poor working conditions at the studio and the behavior of its chief executive. Limestone Games has not publicly responded to these allegations. This trailer was created with abuse, manipulation, and theft, the description of a third-party YouTube upload of the Aeon Must Die video reads, before linking to the aforementioned Dropbox repository. People who have worked on every shot of this are no longer with the company holding IP rights. Some were not even paid for their work. The real IP for the game was stolen from the creators via foul play. The article goes on to
real interesting how this thing plays out.
Yes. I guess the developer, this Limestone Games, has not mentioned anything about any of this since the trailer dropped. But yeah, really, really interesting stuff there, where basically it sounds like most of the creative team left. And I saw someone else, it was one of the leakers, I think it was, what's his name? Shinobi on Twitter.
I might have seen that tweet from him.
He said something along the lines of like they had to hire an outside media company,
non-contracted artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, to like basically stitch together this trailer that really has like no. It basically a lot of the trailer is not at all what the game like actually plays like or is sure. Because the game doesn't really exist because the entire creative team left. And so now it's just like this Frankenstein monster basically. So that's really that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is the opposite of what you want to come out the day you premiere your trailer for a new game.
Yeah.
Woof.
Not a good day for Estonian video games, evidently. Then they closed out the show with 2 PS5 games. First, they showed Temtem, which
I've heard things about this for a long time now.
It was in beta or early alpha or some sort of what's that called?
Some kind of pre-release.
Pre-release,
not
version.
Demo, but like not complete.
Yeah, it was on. A lot of streamers were playing it.
Yeah.
Early access, I guess. But yeah, it's basically it's a Pokemon RPG or Pokemon MMO rather, using not Pokemon, obviously.
Yes.
Doesn't do anything to me. I've some of the criticisms I've heard is that all of the Temtem, which are the monsters, basically look the same and play the same. So
That's
not
not what
really.
you want.
No.
No, you want diversity. You want strats.
But it's coming to PS5, so there's that. Then they ended the showcase with a gameplay reveal of Godfall, which is the game that they keep calling a looter slasher. That's the thing they keep saying. It's not going to catch on. Gearbox, stop calling it that, even though that's what it is, I guess. It's a looter slasher that basically looks like Destiny with swords. There's different classes. There's you can have dual small blades, a long sword. There's a shield. There was something else. But everything about this is just Destiny. It's like there's 3-person squads, just like in Destiny. It does look like the combat's kind of interesting, but I don't really know how deep it ends up going if it's basically loot based anyway. It very much to me reminds me of like what we saw early on from Anthem, where it's a studio. It's a studio that is trying to get their games as a service, their big AAA games as a service game off the ground.
Yeah.
Activision had theirs with Destiny, which was the original one for all intents and purposes for like this genre. They set the standard. Then we have EA over here trying to make theirs. Now it's 2K's turn. 2K, I don't think is going to pull it off. We'll see.
Ruh-roh.
It looks pretty. The game looks fine. But I have no desire to play this. They did say it's not going to have any microtransactions, which is a big problem with Destiny with their silver market. I don't know if it still is, but that was a big hang up for people for a long time was Bungie's and by extension Activision's use of microtransactions in the game. So to come out and say that we're not going to have any, I think is interesting, especially for a games as a service kind of game. Because if there's no microtransactions, how do you fund your games as a service? How is it a service at that point? Like,
yeah, that's a good question.
Are there any games as a service games out there that don't have microtransactions that are successful? Like I think about like even like the games that have been around for a long time. Like Overwatch has loot boxes. I don't know anything about MOBAs. Do MOBAs like you have to pay for characters, don't you, for MOBAs? Like there's a free version I think of like Dota 2, but to get the full version you have to like pay for characters as they come out, I think. So there's basically
I want to say that's right.
Like obviously there's the battle passes with Fortnite and Call of Duty and Apex and all that stuff. The Apex a lot of those have their own premium currencies too. Destiny has silver.
What about Tetris 99? I don't think that has any, right?
No, I wouldn't call that a games as a service though. I mean, at this point, Tetris.
Don't you get it for free if you get the?
Yep, part of Nintendo's
online,
whatever it's called. But yeah, I don't know how you support your game. I guess the only way to do it would be DLC that you have to pay for. But we'll see, I guess, with Godfall. And that was it. That was the end of their state of play. Nothing interesting. I was underwhelmed, honestly.
Ooh, not even whelmed.
I didn't have very many expectations going in. I thought that we were going to get like one interesting announcement or like something new.
Were you hoping / expecting Persona Scramble?
I said 50-50. So I made a tweet earlier this week that I thought for sure, without beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we were going to see the new Call of Duty game for 2020. Did not see that. Although I did see a tweet earlier that apparently they're going to do something on the 10th, which is what, Tuesday next week? Or no? Monday?
Was that crate?
Yeah, someone got a crate.
Do not open.
Yes, until 8/10.
Which, like, okay, I get it. It's your marketing thing. Maybe don't do that. I don't know. That didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
In the age of, hey, don't leave like if you see a bag at an airport, Don't touch it.
Mm.
In the age of that, I was like, oh, you're now going to claim that you're getting this mysterious black unmarked crate that says do not open until the 10th.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In case you don't know what John's talking about, there was a tweet of an influencer. I don't even know who it was. It was probably a streamer, but I guess I don't know. They received this like crate in the mail, and it's a crate. Like it looks like a big crate that you could like hide behind almost.
This is not like a cardboard box
No.
that looks like a crate. This is wood.
Yes, like a banana crate basically.
Yes.
And it said, I guess it was addressed from Activision. It says, "Do not open until August 10th, 2020." But yeah, it looks like there's a bomb inside. It looks like something bad's gonna happen. You're gonna open it up and a bunch of spiders come crawling out, like radioactive spiders or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
very weird.
I mean, again, goes with I'm sure what the game is about, since it's shooting and guns and stuff. But like, I don't know. I just saw that and I was like, ooh, if I got that, I'd be like, nah, this is fake.
Yeah. But
Somebody's
anyway,
trying to kill me.
I thought for sure that we were going to get a new Call of Duty announcement here because it is late in the year. It's fucking August and we still haven't heard anything about this year's Call of Duty. And Sony and Activision have had a partnership for Call of Duty for the last several years, going back to at least 2013, I think. So I thought for sure that was a shoo-in. They weren't there. I think I was 50-50 on Persona. Either I was really, really hoping, without getting my hopes up too much, I was really hoping for Persona 4 Golden getting ported to the PS4. I still think that's for sure going to happen at some point. It's on Steam. Why the hell wouldn't they? But it wasn't there. And then we still haven't heard anything from Persona 5 Strikers either. So neither of those were there. And then like just the long shot hope was something from new Telltale Games about The Wolf Among Us, because we haven't heard anything about that since the Game Awards.
0 for 3. It's rare that you get a record that's more like mine.
Yeah. So there was like nothing here. Like if you had told me this lineup going in, I would have been like, okay, Crash 4, that makes a lot of sense. Bugsnax, great. We're finally that you have to show that game because it's coming out soon. And the hype for it is there. So people clearly want to see more Bugsnax.
I got to capitalize on that.
And then Godfall is the only other one that was like, okay, yeah, Godfall is a bigger game from Gearbox that we haven't seen gameplay of yet. But yeah, like the rest of this is just like, yeah, it's whatever. But that's kind of what Sony's state of plays have been like over the last year since they've been doing them. There haven't like their first state of play was only like 15 or 20 minutes long, like that Nintendo. Actually, that was only 8 minutes, but it's been like a mini direct basically, where it's just like small stuff, tiny experiences, not AAA blow your mind stuff. They typically save those for conferences that have more or that are higher profile, like the PS5 reveal thing. They haven't really used state of play for big bombshells. Not to say they can't do that in the future, but I think at this point, my expectations are set appropriately for what these are going to be going forward. It's a lot of smaller games from smaller publishers and indie publishers, and you might get one deep dive of a game that we already know about. So, state of play, done. Your move, Xbox.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't suppose that you saw the Nintendo news.
No?
No?
Maybe?
Okay. So, like, obviously they've been kind of radio silent on all their just everything. And I forget if it was, honestly, I'm blanking if it was yesterday or today. But they were like, hey, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is coming to Switch. Did you not see this?
No.
They're like remastering and putting in a lot of extra content, like new DLC and all this stuff, and putting a new-ish Pikmin game on Switch, which kind of came out of left field.
Why?
Because people want Pikmin.
But It's the 35th anniversary of Mario.
No.
We haven't fucking seen anything about. I mean,
Pikmin.
we haven't seen. At the start of this year, there were crazy ass fucking rumors about all of the Mario stuff that was going to happen on the Switch this year. We have none of it. We don't even know any of it exists. But they're going to put a Pikmin game on the Switch. Okay.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Where is Mario? What is he doing? I know he just had a game, but you didn't celebrate anything. It's 35 years.
I don't know. They also did, I don't know if you saw this, but they announced some of the, I don't know if they announced this or if like people just kind of picked up on this, but the top 5 selling Nintendo Switch games. Did you see this at all?
Yeah.
I was shocked that Animal Crossing has skyrocketed. I mean, I'm not shocked, but I'm still a little surprised.
Do you have those numbers
shot up to
anywhere?
second place. Yeah, I've got it right in front of me. Number 1 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 26.74 million sold. Number 2 was Animal Crossing at 22.40 million.
And I think, before you go on, I think that the reason Mario Kart is so high, aside from Mario Kart being like a quintessential Nintendo game, that was included in a lot of bundles early on, and like the Black Friday deals.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
that
think
makes sense.
I think that plays a lot into it. I think that's
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 19.99 million. Then Breath of the Wild at 18.6. And then Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield lumped into one at 18.22.
Okay. I saw a stat somewhere on Twitter today that Animal Crossing New Horizons has outsold the entirety of the Metroid series.
Not surprised.
Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold more copies than all of the Metroid games put together.
I think I'd have to dig and find where this was sourced, but I think I saw a stat that somebody found that was like, you wonder why Nintendo's not really trying to make moves right now because of like Animal Crossing and their number of Switches
Hang
sold.
on a
They've made
second.
like,
My dog is freaking out for some reason.
uh-oh.
Sorry, everybody. Hang on one second. All right, we're back.
Is he okay?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
All right.
He was like barking. My dog does not bark. Thought that like maybe there was an intruder, or I have no idea.
Yeah, that's unusual for him.
All right.
I did find a stat. It's from My Nintendo News Twitter handle. I don't know how reputable this is, but it does seem reputable. 61.44 million Nintendo Switch systems have been sold.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Which,
So,
what,
yeah,
3 years in? That's pretty good.
Yeah. And supposedly all of it added up for like the last couple months or something, I think. I don't know. I think they're sitting on 400 million of profits, which is why they're like maybe not as motivated to give all this information out. You'd think they'd want to capitalize on it, but like also they don't need to.
I really don't think that it's a motivation issue. Like,
yeah,
I don't think that they believed that Animal Crossing was going to sell as well as it did. I think that they maybe thought that it could, But I really think that not all of it, but a significant amount of Animal Crossing success is because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. You have people going and buying this game and a Switch to play it. Like, I know a couple people who would never touch a video game.
Right. But
And
they weren't.
one of them went out and bought a Switch and this game, and then another one, their significant other had a Switch, so they went out and bought this game.
But they weren't hinging their success on Animal Crossing going into this. They haven't shown anything. Again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but they have not shown anything. They have not had a major direct since last fall. They didn't have a January direct. They didn't have an E3 time direct. They would have had stuff in the pipeline because they weren't hinging everything on Animal Crossing. It's worked out so far. And I mean, again, Nintendo's in no financial, obviously there are no financial straits. Like, they're going to be fine. I think that there's got to be something else going on here that we don't know about for them to not show us hardly anything in a year.
Yeah. I also did see, and it's just the rumor mill at this point. Somebody, I forget who, was like, supposedly there's going to be a direct between August 11th and like 20th or 22nd.
Okay.
So we'll see if that quote unquote leak is true.
I think a bunch
I saw it on Twitter, so it must be.
After the after the mini direct a couple of weeks ago, there were like two prominent Nintendo specific leakers that privated their Twitter accounts because people were so angry at them.
Yeah, people were harassing the leakers for what Nintendo did.
It's like and in this situation, they weren't even like promising the world. It was like, okay, Nintendo's going to have a direct on this day. And then it ended up that they did. It was just a mini direct, and it showed nothing that a lot of people wanted. So yeah, I don't know what the state of the Nintendo leaker community is right now, but I know that at least two prominent people like basically shut everything off because the internet's terrible.
Yeah, because they were trying to do a nice, kind thing that they didn't need to do. It's not their job. Last time I checked, you don't get paid to leak somebody else's content.
I'm really curious about what that relationship is like, because it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. The leaker, who has no affiliation with Nintendo, the person that's putting the leaks out there, has no affiliation with Nintendo. I don't really know what they do other than like being some sort of influencer, I guess, on Twitter. But typically these people, at least the ones that I follow, it's not like they're streamers. It's not like they're content creators. It's literally all they do is tweet stuff.
Yeah. Which, like, where do they get their info from?
That's the thing, is there are people at Nintendo actually giving them stuff.
Yeah.
What is that relationship? Like, what is the person in Nintendo getting from leaking that information to the person?
Maybe maybe it's just the thrill of the suspense.
It could
being
be.
Like, oh, if I get busted, whoa, I'm gonna lose my job. But for these 5 minutes of internet fame that my information's gonna get, it's gonna ride that high for the next 4 months.
The fame is the information. It's not even the person. It's like it's very weird.
No, but I'm saying that's what the person at Nintendo gets. They're like, well, I provided this info. I know I did.
So it's
I'm going to run.
It's maybe purely it's pure personal satisfaction. Okay, could be.
Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe it's a giant conspiracy theory, and Doug Bowser's like, all right, listen.
Yeah, right.
We got all these contract workers. We're not telling you what they do, but give them some info.
Let's just throw out just a little nugget of information. But if it's Doug Bowser's fault, then he's stepping in a lot of crap, because he's not, at least with this mini direct, they drummed up way too much hype for what was shown, and then it bit them in the
maybe some of them were getting a little too what is it, big for their bridges? What's that phrase?
Oh, his entire his goal Oh, this is like
He's gotta
4D
knock 'em
chess.
down.
His goal was to take the leakers out. He wanted them to go private because he's tired of them leaking their shit all the time. So he fed them false information. I got it.
I mean, he fed them true information,
Right.
but like he fed it in a way that would make everybody just pissed.
Yes. Man, Doug Bowser truly playing maybe even like the 6D chess
Yeah.
over here.
Brilliant. Genius. Big brain.
Can we talk about Ubisoft for a second?
Sure. What have they? Has more happened?
Not about the stuff that's come out of the last couple of weeks about their terrible work environments and the sexual harassment and all of that stuff.
And the higher ups being just garbage.
As far as I know, their CEO
can't sell in video games and blah blah blah. Trash.
As far as I know, they've sort of gone radio silent on that, and they threw up the old "we're working on it" kind of thing.
Sure.
Which I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not.
Hopefully it's true, but don't hold your breath.
For some reason, not only does Ubisoft refuse to give me specifically, but also a lot of their fans what they want. They love torturing us with approximations of the things that we want. Ubisoft
I know what this is about.
You know what this is about. Ubisoft came out and announced Beyond Good and Evil 2. Beyond Good and Evil, not like a super popular game. I had never heard of it before they announced the sequel, but it's a cult classic. It's one of those games that like the people who like that game really like that game. They announced the sequel to Beyond Good and Evil 2, or they announced Beyond Good and Evil 2. It was like E3 2015 or something. It's been like 5 years. And we have not seen gameplay yet in 5 years. We've seen like one more trailer that they showed, I think either last E3 or the E3 before. But it's basically been completely dark. That whole project has been dark for the longest time. Until we get a little snippet from HollywoodReporter.com last week that they are making a Beyond Good and Evil adaptation on Netflix.
Great.
So here's a game that everybody is super hyped about, at least in the games industry. Like anytime any mention of Beyond Good and Evil 2 shows up, like IGN loses their shit and publishes like 8 stories about why you should go back and play Beyond Good and Evil. Nothing. We're not getting that game. We're getting the Netflix series. Okay. Oh, but that's not all.
It'll join the Sea of Sevens.
That's not all. Not only are you getting a Beyond Good and Evil Netflix series, you're also getting a Splinter Cell Netflix series. Splinter Cell, a game that everybody's been, what the hell is Splinter Cell? There's not been a new game since like 2012. It's been 8 years. Time to bring Sam Fisher back. Here's Ubisoft. Let's put him in that Ghost Recon game. Let's make him a little DLC, like 2-hour mission. That's what people want.
Yeah.
Let's put him in that Tom Clancy's whatever the hell mobile game that exactly 0 people want. Oh, at this point, should we make a new game? No. How about an anime? Not only is it a Netflix series, it's a Netflix anime. Splinter Cell. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. What do you think Tom Clancy, who's dead, but what do you think Tom Clancy would do if he found out that one of his properties has been made into an anime adaptation? What do you think that would go over like?
You know that like overused trope in like sitcoms and stuff where they'll show like an older person who like fought in World War II and they'll be like, listen, I fought so that you could have, I fought for you regardless of what your opinion is or what you like. But if I had known. Listen, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is one of the best games ever made. I have a great affinity for this series. I also, completely separately, enjoy anime. I like a lot of anime. Putting those two things together and putting on Netflix is not what I want at all. Trifecta.
So Ubisoft is really hitting just the wrong note on all cylinders for me right now. It's like, okay, we're terrible. We have a horrible, hostile work environment. We're shitty to our employees. We're sexist. Female characters don't sell in games. Here's an Assassin's Creed. It's like all the shit I don't want. And then, like, they take the stuff that I like and they turn it into Netflix adaptations.
Yep.
Great.
Was my prediction at the start of the year that we would have... Well, I got to go back and listen because I don't know if I said we are getting a new Splinter Cell game or if I said Splinter Cell is back.
What did you say?
If I said Splinter Cell is back.
So at the beginning of 2020, John and I made some predictions, and I specifically said that I can no longer predict that there's going to be a new Splinter Cell game because I've guessed it incorrectly the last several years.
So I took up the...
John took up the mantle. Torch. I have it right here. Here we go. 2020 predictions. John said, quote, Splinter Cell. It's back for real this time. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't know what that qualifies as. I mean, it is, but it's not. Not in the way we want it, at least.
Ubisoft used to be one of my favorite fucking companies. I loved their games. I played almost everything that they put out. And right now they're just, again, they're hitting all the cylinders. They're just all the wrong cylinders. It's like they're I don't know what they did. I don't know what the future of that company is now that they've basically replaced their entire leadership team or in the process of replacing that leadership team. Hopefully the work environment gets better. And hopefully someone they hire has an affinity for Splinter Cell. And then maybe we can talk, Ubisoft. At that point, maybe we can talk.
It's all in motion. Just got to see where it all lands.
All right. Is there anything else? I think that's about it.
So.
Oh, I know something. At the end of last week's show, you said that you wanted to talk about something this week.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Something about a Twitter poll. I've been dying to know what the hell, what's going on.
So I plan on running a Twitter poll. And it's really dumb. It's one of those ideas that like you have and you're like, this is a great idea. And then you think about it more and you're like, maybe this wasn't a great idea. But I'm going to run with it anyways. It's been I texted it to myself weeks ago. And it's been an unread notification in my text for far too long now. So I plan on having a tournament, a Twitter poll tournament.
Mm.
And I can't decide if I want it to be the best or the worst. But I want to find out what is either the best or the worst letter of the alphabet. I want to know.
Okay. Sure.
So what do you think? Best or worst? What do I go for? This stems, I think, around the same time I had seen there was another very similar Twitter poll that's kind of where I got the idea. That was like, what's the worst state? And it was just this tournament bracket where all the states were facing off.
Sure. And
so I was like, all right, what's the worst or best letter of the alphabet? Like, what more can we do this tournament style bracketing with? But I can't decide if I want to feed on the internet's negativity and go for worst.
Yeah.
Or if I want to try to like give people a positive outlet.
I think you have to go negative. I think if you want any chance of this
too.
I think negative has to be the way.
Of getting traction.
Yeah.
Getting people to be like, yeah, I hate cues.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Now, how are you seeding this? How are you going to seed it? Are you going to do like
I don't know.
vowels? Are there going to be play-in rounds? How's this working?
I'm going to draw it up.
Okay.
I'm going to draw it up, see how it all works out. There might be a couple letters that just get like a like a bye week.
Like the
I don't know.
vowels get a bye week or something.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it all works.
Well, yeah, wait, 26. So okay, there's 26 letters,
Because
right?
then you'd go down to 13 if you do two facing off.
Yeah,
Because
so
26 isn't really divisible by anything but two.
no. So you have to bring it down to 24. So yeah, you get two letters that have a bye at the beginning. Basically, right?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe it'll just be A and Z since they're the first and last. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see.
All right, well let me know and I'll publicize that for you.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
All right. Well, that should be interesting. I'm gonna
Dumb
make a prediction.
ideas.
I'll make a prediction. The
All right.
most hated letter. I'm gonna say the letter V.
V. Interesting.
V as in Victor.
What are your why are your feelings like that?
It's not a common letter. Possibly, it's not the most uncommon letter.
It's quirky, but like in an annoying way.
Yeah. It's also too close to U because in Latin they're the same letter, and I think U
And
is
it's too close to W.
yeah.
In terms of looks, it's just all right. Two V's.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm gonna go with V. We'll see.
See, I don't think it's gonna get the worst. I think people are gonna like it because it's edgy.
It's gonna be like something like just like E.
Yeah.
Well, E. I feel like E might be the best letter though.
We'll see.
Some
We'll
of
see
my
what the
favorite
internet has to
jokes are
say.
about E. Just like literally the sound. It's just the letter E. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. How like a week or how many you're gonna or like okay. So for this, are you gonna do one matchup a week? You gonna do like multiple matchups, like one a
'cause
day?
That's gonna take far too long. I
Right.
think I'll do it one a day, and like I'm just not sure how much time I should set for the voting because I don't want to put it like a full 24 hours because then I'll have to remember. Well, I guess I can make it 24 hours, and then just every 24 hours I put a new thing up.
Could yeah.
I just feel like that's maybe the first bracket. There's like maybe each round there's multiple going at like I set a bunch of tweets because you can do that. You can make a thread.
Yeah. Although
So
with
maybe
the
I'll make.
yeah, I don't know if the
have
thread's
voting
the
in
right way to
threads?
go. I don't know because the threads tend to get buried, and then you see like the first
True.
one and the last one. I don't know. You might want to make like a Google Doc or something.
I'll have to do the logistics on this. I
Yeah.
might just do one matchup a day, and have it be like a 2-week process.
That could
I'm
work.
still worried that that's going to be too drawn out, but I don't see any other way to do it in a fair.
You're gonna have to tap into other places. You're gonna have to make. Do you have a Reddit account? You ever go on that Reddit? That there Reddit?
God, I do, but it's long dead.
You gotta post that on Reddit somewhere. Like on maybe Data is Beautiful or something. Like say you're running this study, this super scientific Twitter study on what the worst
100%
letter
academic.
of the English alphabet is. You gotta put this places. I will boost it as much as I can, but my audience
right.
not very big.
They're just gonna vote for any letter that's not the word persona, right?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Anything
I love
else
Twitter.
you want to talk about?
I guess there's one little thing. I feel like you stumbled upon this like feeling an idea a while ago, and I am just now discovering it. For the longest time, my go-to social media has been Twitter. And everybody I followed was either somebody like famous that I knew of, as you do, or somebody that I personally knew. But I didn't follow just like random people. And so recently I would go to like the discover section or whatever, and I would see certain people that are just regular ass people. Maybe they've got a decent amount of Twitter clout, but like just normal people who are posting about things that I enjoy. And I was like, you know what? Let's just follow them. Let's see how this works. This is probably why Twitter was made in the first place. And like now my timeline is filled with anime and video games and like all all these topics that I enjoy, and I'm like, this is so much better. Why didn't I
Right?
do this forever ago?
Yeah. I can't even
So
remember.
if you're like me and an introvert and like avoid following people that you don't know or like that are giant accounts that will never notice that you followed them, try following just some like regular accounts for regular people that post quality content.
Yeah.
It's such a bright it's such a little like brightening experience of my day when I go on Twitter now.
Right. I discovered that by art, basically fan
Yeah.
art. You start to follow the fan artists, which typically don't have, that big of accounts. They might have a couple thousand followers, maybe.
Yeah, but nowhere they don't have the M. They
No.
don't have millions.
No, they don't have a blue check mark usually.
Yeah. They don't even I mean they have a couple thousand, but like not enough to even usually put a K next to their follower count.
Right.
It's like literally 4,862.
Yeah. But you follow the fan artists, and then you start to follow the people that the fan artists retweet. And then that's
Yes.
where it starts to get good.
Yeah. I've gone into that layer now where I've started following like I'll see the same like I'll see 2 or 3 different fan artists or whatever that I follow either liking or retweeting the same person. And I'm like, okay, I like what you all produce and you all like what this person produces. So we'll just keep on going down this little path that you're setting for me.
Right. It's like joining a clique that you don't belong to.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. This is the closest you're getting to being a fly on the wall in the room with the popular kids.
Right. I'm in the room where it happens.
Yeah. I'm involved. They don't know me. And then it's I think somebody tweeted like I think something about Ryuji. And I like commented because I was like, all right, it's my boy. I gotta do something here. I can't just give that like out. I gotta interact. And like it's just getting a like back is such a good feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
Dopamine.
It costs you nothing to hit that little heart button. Don't be stingy with your likes. Maybe be stingy with your retweets just because that's gonna go everywhere. But like, it costs you nothing, and it makes the other person feel so good to give a like.
Moral of the story: go and like stuff. Go and follow people that you think are doing good work and like stuff.
Yeah. Boost them. Give them confidence with a dumb little click on your phone. That's all it takes. You don't even have to say good job. You can just hit a preset little emoji that lets them know, hey, one random person on this earth thinks that this is pretty neat. They appreciated this in some way.
In the spirit of that, like and subscribe to QuickTime Event Pod. If you could, leave us a little review on iTunes or whatever podcast service you get us on. Those help a lot in getting,
If you want to use words, cool. If not, there are those little stars. You don't have to. You can just give us some stars.
Give us a couple stars. Helps a lot. Give us some likes. Go subscribe on YouTube. I wish I could give you a good YouTube link, but it's just look for CDR Magnus on YouTube. Go follow on Twitch. Go and follow wherever you want. That would help a lot. But be good on the internet.
Interact with us if you feel so bold and so inclined. As we clearly just stated, it feels good, and it gives you a certain kind of high.
Yes. If you like what you heard, you can do all of those things on a variety of platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and more. You can find us on Twitch every Thursday for the foreseeable future at twitch.tv/CDRMagnus at 8:30 p.m. You can also find us on YouTube at just search for CDR Magnus or go to my link in the Twitch panels to get to YouTube. Give us a little subscribe there, like some videos. You You can find me on Twitter at CDR Magnus. John is on Twitter at John Kameko. We will be back next week on Thursday at the same time, talking about maybe Xbox stuff. If Xbox wants to make a move here tomorrow or next week, or, it's your move.
Maybe Nintendo will just stealth drop something on us. Who knows? Nobody can predict them. No. There's got to be something coming.
At some point, there will be something that comes.
Yes. What if there's not? What if we're all just perpetually holding on to this idea that like they have to do something and they just don't? They're like, nah, we're closing 2020. It's done for us.
Without getting too into this, because I don't want to go for another 5 minutes, but
sure.
For a long time, I've wondered what the hell people like Elon Musk or these billionaires, what the hell are they doing? They have the money. They don't need anymore. They can go fuck off for
they
won 1,000.
They won money.
They can go fuck off for 1,000 lifetimes and never have to work. What the hell are you people doing? Maybe Nintendo's just reached that point. Maybe Nintendo's like, you know what? We made enough money. We can just go fuck off now. We don't need to do anything else. We did it.
We completely filled our money vault.
Yeah.
We can all swim in 80 feet of $100,000 bills.
For 1,000 lifetimes. Maybe they just reach their number and they're done.
There was secretly one of those little thermometer charts in the back room at Nintendo where it was like, all right, if we reach $400 billion, we're done. That's our fundraising goal. What are the funds for? Don't worry about it. We just want to raise it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace out.